All right, let's talk about transformation questions. You know, the ones that can seem a little tricky? Well, they're often hiding some really easy marks, but only if you know the system. In this explainer, we're going to break down a classic GCSE question, step by step, to show you the exact 3 things an examiner is looking for to give you full marks.
Okay, so here it is. We need to describe the single transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. Now pay attention to that word, single. That is a massive clue. To nail this, we just need to find 3 specific details. Let's start with the most obvious one.
So, step 1 is all about figuring out what kind of transformation we're even looking at. You've got your usual suspects: rotation, reflection, translation, or enlargement. So the first thing you should ask yourself is, what's the biggest, most obvious difference between triangle A and triangle B?
Well, think about it. Rotations, reflections, and translations all share one rule. The shape size stays exactly the same. But just look at our triangles. It's clear as day that triangle B is smaller than triangle A. The size has definitely changed.
And that change in size, that's the dead giveaway. It immediately knocks all the other options out of the running and tells us this transformation has to be an enlargement. And just like that, we've got the first key bit of information the examiner is looking for. We're on our way.
Okay, on to step 2. It's not enough to just say it's an enlargement. We have to get specific. We need to say how much it's changed, and that's where the scale factor comes in.
Now, the formula for the scale factor is actually pretty simple. You take the length of a side on the new shape, and you divide it by the length of the matching side on the old one. For this question, the easiest sides to use are those nice flat horizontal bases.
Okay, so the base of our new triangle, B, is 2 units long. The base of the original triangle, A, is 3 units long. So we just do new divided by old. That's 2 divided by 3. Our scale factor is 2/3. Easy as that.
All right, we have our transformation type, and we have our scale factor. That's 2 out of the 3 pieces of the puzzle. The last and absolutely crucial detail for any enlargement question is finding the center of enlargement. So how do we find this thing? It's actually a really neat and simple trick. All you've got to do is draw straight lines that go through the matching corners or vertices of both triangles. Okay, imagine you've got your ruler. First, let's draw a line connecting the top right corner of the big triangle A, going right through the top right corner of the smaller triangle B. Make sure you extend that line way back into the negative part of the grid. Now we just do the exact same thing again, but with a different pair of matching corners. Let's connect the bottom left corner of triangle A to the bottom left of triangle B. And again, just extend that line back until it crosses the first one. And there we have it. The point where those 2 lines cross is our answer. They intersect perfectly at the coordinates -4, -2. That right there is our center of enlargement. And just like that, we've gathered all 3 pieces of information that the examiner needs to see. Now all we have to do is put them together into one perfect, full-mark answer. So, let's recap our 3 key findings. 1. The transformation is an enlargement. 2. The scale factor is 2/3. And 3. The center is at -4, -2. To get those full 2 marks, you have to include all 3 of those pieces of information. You write it down just like this. Enlargement, scale factor, 2/3, center, -4, -2. If you leave any one of those out, you're going to drop a mark. And you don't have to take my word for it. Here's the proof, straight from the official mark scheme. It confirms you get 2 marks, what they call a C2, for stating all 3 parts. But look closely. If you only get 2 of them right, you only get 1 mark, or C1. There's no in between. Now, here's another critical tip from the examiners that could save you. Remember how the question demanded a single transformation? Well, if you write down 2, like enlargement and a translation, you get 0. Yep, a big, fat 0. Even if one part is right, you didn't follow the instructions. Precision is absolutely everything here. So the takeaway here is pretty clear. These aren't tricky questions, they're system questions. By memorizing this 3-step checklist, transformation, scale factor, center, you're not just solving a problem, you're giving the examiner exactly what their mark scheme wants. So have a think. Which of those 3 steps do you need to practice the most? Because mastering that system is what turns a scary-looking question into guaranteed marks.